Okay, let's just create very simple plane. Okay, just create and just give it some subdivisions. Go to XGen and create a description. Let's use placing and shaping guides. Just create and okay, just place a few guides here and there. And refresh the scene to see the primitives. Then in the preview output section, we have a few options here. Okay, first two options are about to show you how much you want to see in the view panel. That's nothing to do with the render. If you go to the render and give it a very quick render, make sure it's in mental array. Okay, we can see something like that in the render. And if we keep this image just for the sake of comparison and change the percent, for example, to 20, you can see that it reduces the primitives to about 20 to be left only 20% of the primitives. But if you look at the render, it has nothing to do with the render. And in fact, every option in this tab in the previous setting section has no effect whatsoever on the render. Okay, I just want to show you that. And even when you change this to, for example, 100 or 50% or any number you choose, whether in the start percent or in the percent, it will has nothing to do with the render. Okay, and the limit is also show you how much or how many primitives you want to be seen in the viewport in number. For example, you can set a limit to only see 10 primitives, no matter in the primitive density, in the general attributes in the primitive tab. No matter how much which number you put or how many you want to have, you cannot have more than 10 because the limit is 10. By default is 1 million, but if you want to go beyond that, you can do that. You can change to, for example, 5 million or 10 million, but you have to be careful of memory issues and performance issues. So you can combine with the percent and you can get good results. Okay, since that's only effect on the render, so something like that. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the render, just viewporting these are. Okay, I just want to repeat that. And only primitives in the view. I think this is one of the options I highly recommend to be on, because for example, if I zoom this guy to something like that to make it some of the primitives out of the view. Now, for example, something like that, make sure it is on. Now if I go back here, showing some of the primitives is missing. Let me just show you. Okay, select this guy, go to Control D to clone it and move it to this guy here. Okay, just want to have another one and go to XGen, create description. Let's create another description, but this time let's go with the by using attributes. All right, let's just turn the resolution gate. So if we go to the XGen, make sure in the it is on, and okay, the margin is tell you how much or how far you want to give Maya to decide to remove or ignore the calculation of the primitives. Okay, the remove calculations. Let's just give it 0 and just whether it is outside the preview, just don't calculate. So all you need to just move it here, for example, or you can just give it, for example, 2 or 1, something, any number. Now when we as you can see, these are just disappeared. Okay, and for example, if I change it to something like that, I need to just go for a refresh. Now these are all disappeared, and this is really working very good with the attribute, but with the guides, since these guys are really close to this, it doesn't, because I have to make these guys also disappear from the view. So okay, so as you can see, some appear. So that's just some viewport thing. Okay, if you want to, if you can see some primitives where you should let the computer to calculate. Okay, you can just let this hide it temporarily from the viewport. And you can give it a number, for example, you can give it 20, so 20 points or 20 units from the viewport still can be calculated. So from this point, which cannot be seen, until 20 units outside the viewport still can be seen. Okay, and from this one is very clear. And this is, it doesn't work with this one because I haven't turned the only privileges on this guy. So from this description, it is still on but not enough, so let's just set to something like 1 and turn this on. Maybe you can see here, okay, just refresh it. As you can see, it does disappear. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so just if you want to see the game, since that's inside the viewport, just refresh it, you'll be able to see the game. If it's outside the viewport, refresh it, they'll just fully disappear. Okay, so then you can give it some kind of fall off. This, I can call it a fall off. Okay, how much you want to be outside the viewport to be included. Okay, just 1 unit or 0 unit, or for example 90 unit. As you can see, 90 unit, even if it is outside the viewport, refresh it, still can be calculated, because until 90 points it will be switches to 0. It is outside the viewport, refresh it, still, as you can see, it is completely gone. Okay, great. Also, we have some drawing. How do you want to see the primitives inside the viewport? You can see the patch name. If we select, for example, the surface, you can see the name is. If we select the collection, you can see the name is. Okay, here. Also, we have face ID. You can see the number of the polygons. They are all given some number as a face ID. One of the cool things about this is a poly. If we select, if you just move it this close and go to the wireframe unshaded, which is this icon here, and you can see some wireframe, olive wireframe on this primitive. Okay, in fact, it's not the real one, it's just a viewport thing. If you want to see the real one, the one which can be seen in the render, just click on poly. This is exactly what you'll be able to see. Okay, and if you want to increase the resolution or the CV count, and just change something, for example 10. You can see let's change it here, let's change back to 5. But if we turn the poly off and you want to just see the viewport with some high resolution, all you do just increase the spline segment to something like, for example, 12. Okay, so with that, okay, to prove that, if we just go to primitives and give it, okay, just click on this, maybe on this guy here, go to guy, and then maybe moving this guy here, something like that. with something like that, just make a better one. Okay, so with something like that, if we just refresh it, you can see we've got, it's very smooth here because we've added about 12. But if you go to the render and give it a render, I bet it's not that smooth in the render. As you can see, there are some that is smooth but not smooth enough. So if you want to smooth it in the render, because this is what probably somehow with some smoothing you'll be able to see in the viewport. In the render, if you want to increase it, just increase the CV count, modify CV count, and you'll be able to see it. So that's fine. Then you'll be able to see the smooth result in the render as well. Okay, and a few more options here. For example, the cool is also a really cool option. For example, if I go to the select, and if I select a bunch of primitives and cool them, this option will cool them, will be selected. If I refresh it, you can see all the primitives in the viewport. And if you want to see them, and even if you render, you will not be able to see because they are already being hidden, and that's okay. You can just give it a quick render. As you can see, they are all hidden. But if you want to see it in the viewport, okay, not in the render, just click on this. It will show the code, just like display the code primitives. Okay, it's the same option here. If I turn this option, that will be on. If I turn this off, that will be off. Okay, exactly the same option. Okay, also we have a few more options here. For example, if I turn the primitive idea, for some reason I cannot see the primitive idea, but that's the gives an idea the same as the primitive face. You can specify when you want to see the idea at the top of the primitive or at the bottom of the primitives. Okay, this is the position, but of course maybe it's a bug or something, it doesn't show the idea. Okay, the primitive color and the guide, you can see in the just turn this guy off. In the viewport, I don't like to see this also, and hide this one as well. And here we go. Okay, I just want to have more space and more view panel. Okay, and all right, just refresh it. You can see still the code. What should we do? We have to go to the select, make sure to display the cool, and select all these and choose and cool them, and we're good to go. Okay, and if you want to just change the color of this of these primitives in the viewport, all you do just change this color. Okay, for example, you can change it to red, green, blue, any color you want, and you can change the guides color. And as I told you before, the sequence is just the resolution of the primitives inside the viewport only. This has nothing to do with the render. And okay, there's a question: how to add a texture, for example, a JPEG file to a TIFF file or any other image formats, like a PSD file or something, to this primitive color. Okay, to do so, it's very simple. First, you have to create a ptext map of that picture, convert it to ptext because XGen only supports ptext maps. Then after you change, for example, your JPEG to ptext map, and then you can plug that to the primitive color and you'll be fine. But how can you do that? Very simple. All you need to do now, just go click on this, choose create map. You can give it a resolution. I usually like 50, and if it is not enough, I'll change to 70 or 75. Okay, but most of the time 50 for the resolution is great, and can give the name and It doesn't matter the color. Okay, why is it okay for now? Just choose okay. Now everything turns to white. It's okay. It tells you what color you want to see in the viewport. You can paint a color, but that's not what I want. I want to apply a texture to it. How to do it? So again, very simple. All you need to do first create the map, and then with a fair enough resolution, 50 maybe, most of the time is okay. Go to Windows, rendering hypersheet. Then inside the hypersheet, all you need to do now is to go to the texture section, and you have a file here. If you double click on it, you'll be moved to the attribute editor, and inside the attribute editor, just select the image name, and you can choose the image you want. Okay, in this case, okay, I think I have image in the pictures. This is just a simple gradient, color gradient. So as you can see, that's it. I just go to the move tool and go to the XGen. It won't appear in the viewport unless you click on the save. If it gives you a fail or something like that, just go to the map and save it, then go to the move tool. If you have to first save, then you can go to the move tool or something like that. Now as you can see, I applied a texture map to the primitives, but remember that it has no effect with the render. Okay, if I just give the render absolutely no effect whatsoever. If you want to see this in the render as well, very simple. Again, all you need to do now is just go to Windows, rendering hypersheet, and okay, create something like Boolean shader, and with that Boolean shader, go to the outliner, select the collection one, I think it is description, not description one, just description. Then right click, choose symmetry selection. Not to test things, just double click on this, change it to a color like red. Now you should be able to see this in red. Yes, now it works, but you cannot apply a texture to this JPEG texture. As I told you, only PTX files are supported, and the good news in the viewport, when we plug the JPEG file to this, it automatically converted to PTX file. Okay, but when you click on save, that PTX file is saved inside the paint maps folder, and which is inside the color folder, which is inside the paint map folder, and this is inside the collection folder, and that collection is inside the XGen, and that XGen is inside your project file. Okay, this is very simple to find. Okay, so go to the Windows, rendering and hypersheets, double click on it. You can see here, but still we can, even if we have a PTX file, we cannot connect it to the color. First we have to create a shader to be connected to this, and this is the XGen lookup, and middle click, drag and drop to here, and in the lookup click on this yellow folder and go to your Maya project. This is a default project, XGen collection, and description, paint maps, color, PTX. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And here we go. Now if we go to the render and just give the render, instead of red we can see, okay, the gradient color. Even if we change this in the viewport to any color, it still will be rendered as a gradient color. Okay, we'll talk about this shader and how to work with these later, but in the future videos. But for now, I just want to show you that as a bonus. Okay, great. So we talked about these options. Now let's go and move on to the output settings. Great. And since up to now we always output to render, and it is rendered with mentor array, and 100% of the objects has been rendered. It's the same as this person, but this person only has effect in the view panel, and this person has only effect in the render. For example, if I change to 20, nothing appears in the view panel. But if I click on render, you can see only 20% will be rendered. Okay, it's much less than before. And this is with mentor array, and I think it's very clear. And with something is only bound to 1. If I go to primitives, and if I go to select all the guides, just object mode, select all the guides here. Make sure to select all the guides. Okay, these are the guides I just selected, and change it to something like, for example, 5. This is really long. Now, with that, even if it is that long, so if I just go refresh, that will be that long. But if I just go to render, we cannot see that long primitives because the bound is set to 1. We have to set to 5. And the good news, there's an option called auto set. If I just change to 5, for example, I can see it the real length. But I know that this is 5 because I set it. What about if there's not an equal? Some are 5, some are 3, some are 6. How can I find that easily? There's an option, it's called, for example, let's just set it to, for example, 1. If I set to auto set, we'll change to 5. Okay, this auto set is a great option. And also we have only primitives in the view. I absolutely recommend to turn this on with a view margin of 0, maybe 1 or 0 is okay, because that will save my from not calculating the primitives which is outside the view. Only the primitives which is inside the view can be calculated in the render, and this is amazing. You'll be saving a lot of memory time and in the render. Okay. Since we don't have so much now, it's okay. But you have to be careful when you output to something outside the since it's not rendered something else, for example, an XPD file or something like that. We don't have it for the XPD, but as you can see, we have quite a lot of things. You have to be careful of that because we can add to, we can have something like that when you first click on render and nothing can be seen. It's not a problem, it's the option we choose. So we have to choose the right option. In this case, it is render with mentor array. Okay. Okay. And rendering with mentor array, we've got quite a lot of options here, and I think the most important one is this section, which is called automatically live, and you can change it to batch render from here. Okay, and also set it to manually, but usually automatically is okay. And the approximation usually is subdivided by 3 in a linear fashion everywhere. It's unequal. You can change that to cubic, And also we can set to apply enable motion blur, very straightforward, the same as the motion blur. And also we have the level of details. We can optimize the level of details with that click, okay, that option. But the option here, which I'm probably concentrating now, is the output setting, and that's the render. Let's just change to XPD file. If I just change to XPD file and just for creating, in fact, let's just select this, for example. Okay, I'd like to use this as an example. Just refresh it. Let's see what's the problem. If you just select this and maybe delete it, select that one, so you'll find the problem creating one. A new one will be much faster. And okay, if you just go to preview and before doing anything, let's just go to primitives, just increase the length, decrease the width, and add some taper and some bending. There we go. It's amazing. Now we created some primitives like that. If I want to save that in a file, just the primitive, and to be used in another file, in the first video we talked about, I think in the second video, the part 2 video, we talked about the generated attributes, and the last option was from an XPD file. If I click on it, I'll get some error until there is no XPD file. Okay, we have to bake it first. So I created this, and to bake an XPD file, all you need to do now, just go to operation, choose XPD file, and you can choose any folder you want. Okay, for now let's go to the desktop and just select the folder, just create. I just created the XPD file. If I go to my desktop, this is the XPD file. Okay, now let's go back to Maya. Okay, now if I deleted this collection, if I select this guy here and we'll create an description and choose, okay, this, okay, if I want to get the exact setting as the last one, instead of choosing randomly, I'd like to choose from file. Okay, just ignore that error, don't worry about that. You have the XPD file, choose the desktop and just select folder and just refresh it. We have exactly the same file, but the problem is none of these now works. As you can see, none of these work because it gets the information from the XPD file. But that's for the XPD file. So if you have something you want to use it in another project, exactly the same thing, don't worry. If you have it in a scene, you can save it without exporting it. Just save that this setting, the primitive section, and some of the other settings. Then you can export to an XPD file, then can import it back. So it will be very, very easy to do. Okay. All right. So let's just change it to. You can also just delete that. Okay, we have a few other things like creating guides. If you have, let's go to create, just default. If you want to have guides, you can just create primitives with that, and you can export that as guides. So how to do so? Just choose guides, choose how many do you want to be as guides. For example, I want to create guides 50%, and you can apply the modifiers if you have modifiers. We'll talk about modifier later on. And if you have other guides, it will replace them. Okay, I will check that talk about that later, but for now just review guides. You can see I get half the amount of the number of the primitives. If I want to get it 100% exact number of the primitive, let's just create, so it will be deleted, and in place of every primitive I'll get a guide. And also you can change, for example, to 5% and just create, so not 5, cannot be seen, maybe 20%, just create, so usually it will replace, okay, because the replace option is on. And create as melt is one of the great options. Let's just choose again desktop for us so as to find it easily later. And if you have a bunch of, for example, if you have a bunch of primitives and you shape them and you want to create Nurbs curves from those primitives, export them as Nurbs curves, this is the exact way you have to do so. Okay, how to change the primitives into Nurbs curves and export them to, or output them as a Nurbs curve. It's very simple. I just delete this. I just don't want that. Like this guy, just go to XGen, create description, and let's just using guides and place a few guides here and there. And let's go to the primitives, make sure to select the guides and set the length to something like 3. Okay, just for easier. Manipulation, just move this like that very quickly. I'm doing it quickly, and so I have something like that. If I refresh it, I'll get some primitives like that. If I want to export these primitives as Nurbs curves, very simple to do so. Just go to preview output and choose mel. Can just specify the location. In this case, I'm just gonna go to desktop to find it easily. How much do you want? Let's just say 100%. And can just export instances there, then Nurbs will be as an instance, or you can just separate copies. This is what is that. Let's just keep it as separate copy, just create a file. So if I just go to the desktop, this is the mel file I put it. And the good news is, if I just create a new scene, I just go to open, okay, export to the desktop, okay, choose all file. This is the mel file. If I double click to open it, you can see I've got a bunch of Nurbs curves. See it here. This is all the Nurbs curves. I can shape them, I can rebuild them, I can use them okay, in any modeling or anything you want. Okay, this is it. So to export it as a Nurbs curve, I just delete all these Nurbs curves, delete them. Okay, hide the outliner, and all right, just to create a plane and create a new description with the default setting, preview output. So we talked about all these. You can export as a particle file, also or as a create a point file. The point file is a UVW file, something like that, just for the location of this. Also the render, we talked about that. So we just choose particles. You can see you get some similarity in how much you want, and you can get some masking to where you want to have the article, you can save to where you want, and usually save as a .pdb file. Okay, so, and I believe the most important ones are the render and the XPD, the guides, and the mail. These are the very important ones, in my opinion. All right.